BRB Blazer.
Soft drop, dude.
I was gonna say with that. I was like, when he was saying it, I was thinking, Jurassic Park. Hit it.
All right, we got
drop.
Thursday night football preview.
It's all over the place.
So the Bengals, it's in Cleveland, correct? Cleveland.
Yeah, sure.
The Cincinnati Bengals are taking on the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland.
Yeah, it is in Cleveland. 43.5 point over under. over. So take the under.
What's the over at?
And that's the Browns are a 6-point favorite.
It reminds me of that song. And we won't come back till it's over there. It's a World War II song. Anyways.
That reminds me of the other guys when he said, I thought you said bad cop, bad cop. That's what that reminds me of. He's like, you want a piece of me? Anyways. Sorry.
All right, so we're starting on the Brown side of the ball?
Yeah, we'll start on the Cleveland Browns.
The doo-doo Brown side of the ball.
Dookie. Okay. Dookie. We're talking Baker Mayfield here. This is how we go through it. Quarterback, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, then defense. But we'll start with the quarterback. Obviously, we got Baker Mayfield. I mean, you guys know my opinion on it. I'll let you guys have the floor. You can say your piece, but I don't care about the Bengals defense not being that great, but I'm not starting Baker Mayfield.
Yeah,
sorry.
I agree. I'm not trusting him in my week 2 matchup until I see anything, so I'm with you.
Go ahead, T.
Tyler, do it, dude.
I'll go after. I mean, you want
Someone
to go first?
say something nice.
All right, I'll go. All right. Something nice or just something? All right.
Here's
Baker Mayfield made it to the NFL as a quarterback. Congrats.
And he got a lot of Hulu money.
He got a lot of money, but yeah, you know me. I'm the biggest Baker Mayfield defender, but it's just I can't do it right here. I was just looking at some stats. In his 2 games last year against Cincinnati, he had a 46% completion percentage and a 45% completion percentage. Yeah, that's no good. So I wrote here, no thanks.
Gardner Minshew did better than both of those numbers combined last week.
Go pick up Ryan Tannehill and play him. Don't play. Drop Baker's. Leave that landmine for somebody else, please.
Yeah, so I
It
mean,
was a landmine that worked last year.
Yeah, sometimes. So I mean, it's not like he was getting rushed. He only got sacked twice. So the O-line, I would say they did their job. He wasn't running for his life. He just made terrible throws, and he had 4.8 yards per attempt. That's fucking awful.
I mean, to his defense, you got Marcus Peters on a corner who's an all-pro corner. Then you got Marlon Humphreys. And then, they go get Calais Campbell. He was an all-pro as well.
Threw it to him.
So the Ravens' defense is really good. And then, they got up by such a huge lead that you're pretty much abandoning the run game and then that's what Stefanski and the Browns want to do. They want to run the ball, be able to run play action. So when Baker Mayfield is just going to drop back and throw the ball, the defense can literally just pin their ears back and go after him. And we've seen when you really have to rely on Baker like that, he's not that good. He's, and when I did the numbers on him in the offseason, he's a lot better off of play action. So when you kind of abandon that when they're down 30 points, you throw all those, positive parts about his game out the window.
They have a couple of linemen questionable too for this week 1. One of them's like a finger injury, so it's not a big deal.
Wait, what happened?
My fingers hurt.
Yeah, his fingers hurt.
I was scrambling, dude, to get there, dude.
That's perfect. He said, what letter is that? What letter is that? He's like, son of a bitch. I need another keyboard.
But that on top of it makes me not that confident.
Yeah. And I mean, 10 targets to OBJ, 2 catches. I mean, I think he's thinking a little too hard still. He needs to just let the offense do the work and him just make the right read instead of forcing it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, who am I?
He just needs to stop making Progressive and Hulu commercials.
Yeah, he needs to just read the playbook.
I think he needs to keep doing that because he's not going to have a job in a year.
Yeah.
Stack
that paper.
Just makes as much as he can.
He needs to make as much as he can.
Stack that paper. It's like you feel bad, man. You want people to be successful in the NFL, but it's just like I just can't see it working out for the guy. But that's just my opinion.
It's one game. We don't know what's going to happen, but it's like I feel bad for Browns fans. It's like you think you get this quarterback and then.
No, he got Rookie of the Year that year, and everybody went to everybody's head.
I know, but that's what I'm saying is you think you have like potentially a future when he wins Rookie of the Year and has at least a decent year. Rookies don't have like year rookies don't have that year very often.
It's like RG3 almost.
The only reason Baker Mayfield won Rookie of the Year is because Pat Mahomes was behind Alex Smith that year.
Yeah, but you're missing the point. I'm saying like he had a pretty good season, so it's like if you're a Browns fan, you're optimistic. Like looking at
he gave them false hope.
Exactly.
They had a terrible season this season.
We
before.
spent a lot of time Baker Mayfield. Let's get on
go ahead. Let's go on to Nick Chubb. We got. I'm not mad at this playing Nick Chubb. I feel like you said it and forget it, but I do like the matchup better than this past week. I think you get an uptick from last week.
He left his.
You can expect more.
He left his extends at home last week, but he's bringing it back out.
He was too flubby.
Instead of getting your full Chubb, I think this running back is going to be half Chubb going forward. I mean, we kind of saw a running back by committee right here. Hunt played 49% of the snaps. Chubb played 48% of the snaps. What's your guys' thoughts on these?
Chubb played.
So I actually went back.
Wait. Who played what? You just said You said Chubb played 49.
It was pretty much even.
Yeah.
And then you said Chubb played 48. Which one had what?
49.
Hunt had 49. Chubb had 48% of the snaps.
Did you say? I thought you said Chubb twice. Never mind.
Listen, that's what he said, bro.
So
Maybe.
I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I'm just playing.
someone want to talk
There's not
again
a
or can I
flop.
speak? Because I'll fucking fight all you.
I'll fight you and lose.
Cue the John Cena music.
Get
Get it ready.
Oh, RKO the shit out of somebody.
He's getting hyped.
So I actually was just like on my phone for a little bit looking at it because I was curious. I was like, how was this breakdown actually played out in the game? So I mean, Chubb came out for the first two series. Kareem Hunt didn't see the field. It was just straight up. It was straight up Chubb. Then it started getting mixed and matched. There was a point to where it was on a per carry basis and touches. It was 9 carries to Chubb to 5 carries Hunt. So it was almost a 2-to-1 split. Then it was the third quarter. Chubb came out, Hunt got 2 carries. Chubb's next carry, he fumbled and lost the ball. He was done for the game. So then Kareem Hunt saw 6 straight carries. So that timeshare is a little bit skewed because of that fumble, which is weird because Kareem Hunt fumbled in the red zone as well, but didn't lose it, and they didn't bench him. But then Chubb fumbled and lost it, and he didn't see the field again. They completely benched him. So breaking down the splits, it was almost a 2-to-1 carry split when you're looking at the carries. I didn't look at like the targets and all that, and it was whatever. But as far as like a per carry basis, it was about a 2-to-1 split until he fumbled, and then they just put Hunt in and said, Chubb, get on the bench.
Yeah, Hunt had 17 touches, which, like we talked about, Jesus, there it is. Chubb still had 6 yards per carry, so it's not like he wasn't efficient. It's just he got doghoused. So, and with the game script too didn't help.
Yeah, and I mean I would say Hunt's probably the more of a pure pass catcher than Nick Chubb. So with the game script, like you said, I don't think that hurt as well. So. I'm not going to overreact to it being a 50-50 after week 1. If we see another week, then it's okay. It's time to reevaluate.
Or if the Browns keep getting smacked to pieces, then
which could.
Then I'm going to go fuck. I'm going to have no Chubb. I'm going to be just limp, walking around limp.
Yeah, I think you can start both these guys. The Browns offensive line is still really good. I mean, the Bengals gave up the 5th most yards in week 1 to the Chargers, and I personally think the Browns offensive line is way better than the Chargers offensive line. And then like Dre just said right there, they both ran for over 5 yards per carry. So yeah, I think you can start both these guys. I think, Chubb would kind of be like an RB2, and then Kareem Hunt even is like a low end RB2 flex kind of guy for you right there. I think both these guys will have a productive game.
Yeah.
Start 'em.
I agree. All right, so we can move on to the wide receivers. We got Odell Beckham Jr. 10 targets for 2 receptions.
Yep. 22 yards, 25.
That's what you call not good.
3.
Well, either way, 2 or 3, it doesn't matter.
It didn't help your team. I mean, I guess if you want to
that.
be optimistic and say something nice, you saw 10 targets. But, I mean.
Yeah, 3 catches, 22 yards.
I think
I would trade.
I'm going to try and get away from Odell until I see it with this offense if I can. That's my personal opinion. Until we see Baker put it together on the field, I don't know some teams' wide receiver situation, but I'm probably benching Odell and flexing someone else and going with my other 2 wide receivers.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's kind of like Odell's kind of like a fart. It's like if you have to force it, it's shit.
There you go.
And they're just forcing him all these targets to make him happy, and they're just like forcing him all these targets to be like, no, like he's good. This is gonna work. Like just making it. And it's like you just can't force it. And this is why I kept joking around in the offseason saying, like, I want nothing to do with Odell. I'm done drinking the coffee. Give me the real. Give me the Kool-Aid, man.
The coffee that makes you shit.
Yeah. Give me the real
OBJ.
number 1 wide receiver for the Browns, Jarvis Landry. But with that being said, I mean, he did play 75% of the snaps. It was most out of any receiver. He ran 33 routes. That was tied with Landry for the most on the team. I mean, 10 targets is good, but like you said, the completion percentage was,
That was a
it's
drop.
just not there. And you see on the highlight, he just drops a little like dig route or a little
First
slant
down.
route.
Yeah, these highlights are from the game against Baltimore last week.
But I mean, if you're gonna start him, the Bengals secondary isn't anything to be scared about. And if he's gonna see 8 targets again in a game that should be competitive, I don't think this game gets out of hand like it did last week against the Ravens. I think you can still start Odell. But this is why I didn't want him, because it's like you have Odell and you feel so inclined to start him every single week because you're like, oh, but it's Odell Beckham Jr.
You can't-
Like, he can blow up at any given week.
Yeah,
and
that-
like,
I think-
just wanted nothing to do with that. And now I feel so relieved because this is the first year I don't have many leagues, and now that he did shitty, I feel good.
I'm going to use go ahead, Mike.
No, I was just going to say, I think that's the best advice to give to Odell Beckham Jr. owners is to don't look at him as that name, as that person you have to start. Look at the matchups and see if you're willing to play them. And if you have a better option that has done well or is getting enough targets and is being productive, go play that person. Like I would play Jamison Crowder over Odell. I would play these types of guys. Don't look at him as his name. Like is basically what I'm saying.
Yeah. To put it simple is like if you have, to try and clarify this, if you have two, Odell is no longer a top 20 option on a week in week out basis. If you have 2 top 20 options, start those guys over Odell. If you have, then you can make the decision if you have another guy that's in the 20 to 30 range of options. That's on you if you want to go out and do that. But if you have 2 top 20 options, start those guys over Odell. Don't just do it because of name. I'm not picking on Juju, but Juju, for example, last year was someone where you were I know he lost Big Ben, but I'm saying like people were starting Juju for the first X amount of weeks because he had that name. But look at the name. Yeah, but look at what I can't think of another example, so I'm using him because that came to mind. But it's
a good example though.
Yeah, so but it was hurting your team week in and week out, and we could have the same thing going on with Odell this year, and that's a possibility. So you need to consider that. So.
I mean, he's still going to have some boom games, and I think this is a game where he could have some boom games. If he booms this game, I'm selling. I don't care what you like. What do you want to buy me? A Chipotle burrito? Sure. I'll trade me Odell Beckham Jr.
You got to get his dog one though too.
Gotta work the contract language.
Hey, you
got
got
to
get Pups one, bro. Come on.
I do. Yeah.
Get Pups a
double
vegan.
meat. Add the guac though. You know what I'm saying?
It's like it's
double
extra
meat.
for guac. Yeah,
That's like a $20 burrito.
You got to get that new employee that takes a big scoop, and then they feel bad. They put more on it.
Yeah,
That's
for sure. Those are the best ones. They don't know how much. They don't know what they don't know.
I feel like the
what I'm
new
saying?
employees are like so like by the book.
No,
be
the
like, they'll be like, you know what makes me mad is you're at Chipotle and like they'll go grab like the chicken and like they'll like shake some off and it's like, nah, playa. If you get it on the first initial scoop, that chicken or steak is game. Like you can't be shaking off the chicken or steak on me like that after you just scooped it.
The term I use for that is like I hate when they act like it's theirs.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like when you go anywhere and they give you like one squeeze, it's like, bitch, this ain't your shit. Give me more.
Yeah.
The fuck? You're not going to go home. You're not taking this chicken home. You about to toss this bitch. So like T said, whatever's on that spoon is mine. Don't fucking shake none off. It's not yours. Give me extra sauce. What's up?
Don't play. They low-key have a manager that you can't see on the side that watches them, and they're like, look up, and he's like,
no, but that's what I mean.
Like, oh, I'm on a 30-day probation period.
That's what I mean is like I feel like when I'm new anywhere, I feel bad like charging people a certain amount for
Fuck
things.
that. We need Chick-fil-A service. They'll give you fucking anything you want, dude. They'll give you whatever you want.
All right. Well, let's move on to the number 1 running back, Jarvis Landry.
Number 1 receiver.
Number 1 receiver, Jarvis Landry for the Cleveland Browns. I think he's got the hip injury, so he's questionable technically right now, but I think he'll be fine.
Hasn't missed a game yet, right? In his career, one game?
I don't
Knock
know.
on wood.
Has he not?
Yeah, he's played all 16 games in his entire career. I mean, like I know I joke around. I say like this is the real number 1 wide receiver for the Cleveland Browns, but that's just my opinion. And I mean, he gets you 5 receptions on 6 targets for 61 yards. It's nothing sexy, but that's a Jarvis Landry game right there. You know, he's gonna get you 5, 6 catches, 50, 60 yards, and then he's got some decent touchdowns here and there. I know the first year he was there, he had a 26% target share. When Odell came the second year he was in Cleveland, still a 26% target share. So I'm just going to go with the mean of what it is, and I'm going to guess he's going to have another 26% target share this year. The guy's a PPR machine. As long as, like I said, monitor the hip. I know, Dre, you said you were reading something off air about how his hip, maybe he could potentially not play. It's a short week, a Thursday night game. He's a little sore from the hip surgery in week 1. But as long as Jarvis Landry's on the field, he's in my lineup.
Boom. Mic drop.
Yeah.
No, I agree. He's worthy, especially in PPR leagues or half point standard. Depends. But Yeah, I mean the dude, like you said, he's a machine, and Baker looks for him. He can run in the slot. He can line up outside if you need him to, and he's reliable, and he's not a bum.
He's not a bum.
OBJ.
Start Jarvis Landry.
He's not a bum.
All right, we can move on to the tight end, Austin Hoopa, the Poopa Scoopa. There's a lot of poop jokes with the Cleveland Browns.
True.
Don't force it.
Super poopers.
Don't
already.
force it.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mac or Mike. Mac.
I mean,
How do you say that?
I mean,
I don't have. I'm not the biggest Austin Hooper fan, but I think this is a decent matchup against the Bengals. How do you guys feel?
All right.
I mean, I'll say this. Obviously,
All right.
you draft Hooper. A lot of people are drafting Hooper to be their tight end one, I think, in most leagues. I know we were all pretty down on Hooper. I think we might have barely had him in the top 12. If not, I think we might have had him more like tight end 15 kind of range. Only gets you 2 receptions on 2 targets for 15 yards. It was actually Njoku, the tight end, that blew up for them. But now he's on IR, so he'll be gone for 3 weeks. Hooper actually finished outside the top 30 tight ends in week 1. That's not good. But I think this is a good matchup for him right here. If you're going to play him, if you still have him, I'm going to go back to him. If you couldn't go out and get maybe like a Goddard or something like that on the waiver wire. I mean, this is a Bengals team that just last week, Hunter Henry had 5 receptions for 73 yards. So, yeah, I think Hooper's a decent little play this week if you had him. Bounce back game for Hooper, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm probably doing it if I drafted him because I invested and I want to see another week. I'm not going to go out and just try and pick a guy off the waiver wire, but wouldn't surprise me if he has a dud game. So it's a little risky.
I mean, if you're looking at Browns matchups throughout the year, against the Bengals is kind of like the most ideal matchup scenario for you. So I think you're starting Austin Hooper.
You're probably still running him out there at least one more game and then reevaluating after 2 and see what happens. You're not going to give up on him after 1 game, especially with the loss of Njoku and the potential for Jarvis Landry to miss a game or even be limited on some snaps potentially. So we don't, which I don't think he's going to be, but I mean, there's that potential as well there too. So you're running him out there if you have him probably.
Yep, for sure. And hopefully, you can get Baker to stop forcing the ball to OBJ and hit the open guy. And now, like we said, with Njoku out, it's going to be, less people to worry about. And I mean, they paid Hooper a good amount of money to get there to play. So it's like, you figure you want to get him involved. Thursday night, might as well, prime time, give him the rock. I anticipate more yards. Fuck, I mean, would he have 40, 50 yards?
He had 15 yards.
15 yards. That's right. That was
catches.
terrible.
Divide that by 3.
Sorry, he had 3 points in one of my leagues.
Nice.
All right.
2
Well,
points.
Let's go Browns defense. Are you starting Browns defense against the Cincinnati Bengals?
No, I'm flushing them down the toilet.
So check it out. The Brown.
With the pooper and OBJ.
I know, you might be thinking against the rookie quarterback that's good, but they do have Olivier Vernon's is questionable, and then they have 2 corners that are going to be out, and the linebacker Mac Wilson's out. So
That's fine.
there's a lot of players out.
Yeah, I'm good.
So yeah, no Browns defense.
No more Doodle Browns.
All right, we can move on to the Cincinnati Bengals. Rawr.
that was like
Tigers.
the ticket.
Whoa, dude, what did you just say?
Huh?
All right, Joe Burrow, he rushed one in for 30 yards last week.
Looking athletic, bro.
He didn't throw a touchdown, but he finished with 16 points for fantasy last week. Are you starting Joe Burrow?
No.
Are you hopeful with this beat up defense that put some points up?
I want to see what he does, but I'm not trusting a rookie in week 2. I mean, week 2. I mean, didn't go out and light the world on fire necessarily, to say the least. So I'm not investing in a rookie week 2.
I feel it. I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
All right, what do we got?
All right, we can
yeah,
move
Joe
on to
Donkey.
Joe
That's all
Mixon. What are your thoughts?
I mean, you're starting Joe Mixon, but I'm just gonna. I think it's pretty simple. We don't need to get too deep. But on Joe Mixon, I mean, I was just thinking about him, and I don't think he's gonna reach that high ceiling that a lot of people anticipated. I mean, he only saw one. I know it's 1 game, but 1 catch last week. I just don't think with the system that he has in play, he's going to be a week in and week out 4 or 5 catch type of guy. I think Joe Mixon's probably a 35 to 40 catch guy in the season. I know when a lot of people were talking about his upside, they were saying, he needs to get the ball passing downs and he can get 50, 60 receptions. I kind of don't see it. I don't know how much I trust the offense on a week to week to score points. So to me, I've kind of moved him back down to a RB2 cusp on a weekly play. I'm saying I've just kind of taken a little bit off of Joe Mixon's weekly value in a sense, if that makes sense. I'm not like dogging him. He can still have good weeks, but I've kind
That's
of
fucked up.
changed the way I look at him.
Yeah, no, I agree on the whole the lack of being in the pass game, but like we were saying, he's like still like a workhorse.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, he was a
he's gonna
workhorse
get a
when
lot
they
of
didn't have-
touch.
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean he's gonna get his carries. Not many guys can get you 20 carries, 22 carries in a game, and I'm like, oh, that's good. He's not gonna catch it a lot. I think once the offense kind of starts progressing and kind of starts getting more, I guess, more continuity, and they can start moving the ball, it'll help.
Yeah, I mean, it's just reassuring to see. He gets 19 carries. Gio Bernard only gets 1 carry.
Shit.
I still think he's going to be like that low-end RB1, high-end RB2. I mean, 35, 40 catches, that's pretty much what he got last year. I don't know if he would really kind of eclipse that when you have a guy like Gio Bernard who's a really good pass-catching back in himself. They really like Gio Bernard there in Cincinnati. But, I mean, I think he'll be primed to get another 1,100 yards. If he did that last year with how bad that team was, I can only imagine this year when you get AJ Green back, you get the left tackle Jonah Williams back. I almost said Jonah Hill.
He was O-line big at one point.
And then you get, Joe Donkey there throwing the ball. So I think, obviously the rushing yards will be there. But to see 19 carries, you like seeing that, like a workhorse back. But a tough matchup against the Chargers. I mean, they arguably have one of the best front sevens in the entire NFL with, the players they have on that defense. So just a tough defense to play week 1 for this Bengals offense.
It did just seem like Gio was the pass catching back that they used.
Yeah.
I think the point I was trying to make is, do you remember how Joe Mixon was the first half of last year?
Yeah,
It wasn't as I think there's going to be more of a mix of that in these games. Like, he was being drafted as like a top 6, 7 almost, and I don't think he's there.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see. I mean, you look at the line this week. That was what you were seeing in the beginning of the year. I think some of those games are going to be sprinkled in there with him from time to time. Not that you're not starting him. I'm just saying my overall outlook on Joe Mixon has kind of changed. I mean, he was getting those 25 to 26 carry game, whatever it was, because it was him, and that was it at that point.
He had like
they had to give him the ball because they couldn't do anything else. So, like I said, I mean, if you're talking overall rankings for the rest of the season, I probably moved him down to like 13.
Yeah. 19 carries is still a good amount.
Yeah,
Carries.
it is.
We'll see how he does this week.
Yeah, I mean, you're starting
him, though. You're
starting him though. So wide receivers, we can move on to AJ Green.
So
the green.
Kind of reassuring to see AJ Green come out there. Had 5 catches for 51 yards. Could have had a touchdown. Questionable PA, offensive pass interference.
Whack.
With 7 seconds on the clock. That could have been the game-winning touchdown for them. I thought it was pass interference. He did kind of shove Casey Hayward away from him to make the catch. But just some good numbers here on AJ Green. He gets 3 end zone targets if you want to count that one that was taken away for the pass interference. So that's good. That was actually tied most out of all the wide receivers in week 1. He only played on 66% of the snaps, so I don't know if they're just kind of monitoring him in his like ankle and whatnot like that. But he did run 30 routes. That was the 3rd most on the team. But he did get a team high 9 targets. So 9 targets on just 30 routes. He's getting targeted 1 every 3 times he's running a route. That's really good. So yeah, you're starting AJ Green. But just some good numbers. I felt like you see for your boy AJ Green.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yep.
I like it.
Joe Burrow seemed to look his way. I mean, usually you want to lean on a vet, and the numbers weren't there as much as you'd like for week 1, but definitely room for optimism, like T said, as far as to be on the field 66% of the time and still leading targets. I mean, his floor looks like if he can stay healthy, 7-8 targets a game. I mean, I'll take that all day.
Yeah, I'm expecting that snap percentage to jump up
For
more,
sure.
As they get, throughout the season.
Game shape.
If he's like I said, if he's already getting 9 targets and he's only playing 2/3 of the snaps, I think it's a safe floor from like 8-9 targets per game almost.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Alrighty, we can move on to Tyler Boyd, another receiver. So somebody asked on one of our videos, was saying, "Oh, should I start Robbie Anderson over Tyler Boyd in week 2?" I would say no. I would play Tyler Boyd. I don't panic if you're a Tyler Boyd owner. in my opinion.
Yeah, just give it some time. I don't think he got targeted.
I think he could start him
in the first half of the game. I remember watching it. They're like, and he still doesn't have a target. Like, but I mean, that's what happens when you have a rookie quarterback. Just give it. You got to be a little bit more patient. But I mean, he's talented enough. He gets the separation. I would say don't panic on him yet. Yeah.
And a softer defensive matchup. I mean, I think Burrow's going to have a little bit more success against the Browns than he did against the Chargers. So that's a little bit makes it a little bit more optimistic about that.
Yeah, I mean, Boyd, he lines up in the slot predominantly. Played 82% of his routes came from the slot. The Chargers have some guy named Desmond King who plays the slot. He's pretty fucking good. So that's kind of what it is. And then they also have Casey Hayward and Cliff Harris. Those guys, you hear me say it all the time. They have 3 top 5 corners from Pro Football Focus in terms of their overall grade. The Browns do not have that. So he's going to be going against the Browns' worst graded corner per Football Focus. But just some good numbers on him right here. He played 81% of the snaps. That was second most, only behind John Ross. John Ross obviously did nothing with his. But his 39 routes ran, Tyler Boyd, those were the most on the team. So just more, just some positive numbers going forward. It was a tough matchup against a guy like Desmond King. I think you're going to see a pretty good Tyler Boyd game this week. I think he finds the end zone.
Yeah.
Your boy T saying your boy T is going to get in the end zone.
From one boy T to the other boy T.
I think that's it for Bengals.
So we didn't add John Ross in here because there's a reason for that.
Yep. No, actually his. It's that right there. That's him. Go back. That was him.
The empty space?
The empty space before Tyler Boyd. That's John Ross.
Oh. Go back in there.
Right there. That's John Ross. Just a big doo-doo stick.
Tight end, are you playing? No.
Drew Sample, Uzuma, nah.
All right, so Bengals defense?
Negative.
Negative.
Nope.
You don't think Baker's going to blow it again? Throw some interceptions?
Even if he is, I'm good.
Yeah, they can ground him. They could ground and pound them to death.
You should never have to play the Bengals defense.
Dude, I might stream him.
Unless you're in a 32-team league.
Hopefully you're not in a defensive league, but if you are, don't.
Hey.
He said unless you're in a 32-man and you had the last pick of defense. Start the
Bro, this is how confident I am that Baker's. Bro, I'll play Bengals defense against you, Tyler.
You won't.
Bet you won't. Bet. Hey, watch him have 2 pick sixes tomorrow, like a punt return or some bullshit.
You right. All right, so let's.
Man, that clip was informative, huh? Well, there's plenty more right here if you click that. Also, go ahead and subscribe right there.